Erin. How's it going?
Oh my gosh, it's so nice to see your smiley face. I'm so excited. I'm so excited about what we're going to talk about today too, which is talking about keeping kids unstoppable right now. So we're going to launch in a little bit. Will you tell us what Unstoppable Kids is?
Right. So Unstoppable Kids is kind of the new mantra for Try for Schools in 2020. When we found out that we weren't going to be able to host our typical events that we do in their original format, we still wanted to be able to be there for kids and give them something to look forward to, ways to set goals, ways to persevere, and ways to keep their bodies and minds active in a time when they are spending a lot of time maybe at home, maybe inside or in front of a screen. And so Unstoppable Kids was our way to help get kids involved and show them that there are still ways that we can create community and do great things.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, I have to say in my house alone, the screen time, just because we've had to be on screens more, has increased sufficiently. So I really have to be mindful that they are taking breaks from screens and getting outside.
Right. And we thought maybe this would be a good way to say, well, we have this on the calendar, and then maybe then it's we're going to be biking regularly. We're going to be running outside or playing or walking just because we have this going on. And sometimes even when everything else is off the, the rocker, if we have something on the calendar, a goal to shoot for, it can really help us all stay focused.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit, because I'm ready to sign up. So tell us a little bit about what that looks like for our family. Like if the Sadlers were ready to sign up, what does that look like?
Sure. So the exciting thing is after this weekend, when we had our Unstoppable Kids race, we had over 200 kids sign up, and we only had about 4 weeks to get it going. So we're pretty excited about that.
Wow.
And so for our Sun Prairie race in June, we decided to kind of offer an at-home twist on this one. And parents and big kids, siblings can now get involved too, or grandparents. So we're calling it the Unstoppable Families Race. So now whatever you consider your family, they can all participate in this race that's going to be coming up in June. So they'll sign up and then everybody gets a t-shirt, and we're kind of hoping that this is going to be a way that families can create a really strong, healthy bond and continue that momentum into the summer.
So what I love about this is that my whole family can do it together, and we can have our little family competitions during training and all bond together and have sort of a common goal, because I really find that right now, with our kids and where they're at and we don't know what's going on, we tend to lose sight of that goal setting that they're normally doing in school all the time. They're constantly setting goals and attaining goals, and we might just not have the same level that they normally have right now. So I love that as a family, we can come together and do that and make goals and take those actionable steps, because those really do boost our brains when we set our sights on a goal, and it helps us to focus on something other than any stress that's immediately in front of us too.
Right. Well, and the interesting thing, and this is what I'm really curious about what the science is behind this, but the majority of feedback that we got about the race was not about how great it was for them to be able to go outside and exercise. It was the mental boost that it gave kids, and then how it inspired the kids, but also their parents. Or whoever was cheering for them. And so it seems like, these types of things have such a mental health manifestation. And so I think why that is. And so we're hopeful that continues and grows with adding the family component in together.
Yeah, well, and what I've sort of been telling when I talk to parents, I've sort of been saying, it's like your kid has a backpack on right now, and they're walking around and there's added stress in there. So if you think of each of those stressors as bricks in their backpack, and there comes a certain point where they get used to that level of stress. But if they're not doing anything to take those bricks back out of the backpack, whether that's mindfulness, whether that's exercise, whether it's a combination of the two of them, then they're just compounding the stress. And what we had in the beginning was a lot of acute stress. So our adrenaline might have been pumping when this was all going down and schools were closing and we were all sort of frantic. But now as we're settling in, it's much more of a chronic stress. And that's really the stress that takes a toll on our brains and our bodies. And it's sort of a creeper because you sort of have lived with it for so long that you don't. And now we're getting into 8-9 weeks. Our bodies are taking and absorbing all that stress. And if we're not actively doing something to unload those bricks, then we are really setting ourselves up for some chronic mental health issues, chronic physical health issues. So I 100% believe that when families are going out and exercising and doing this together, the neurotransmitter bond of connecting with each other and kids needing that oxytocin, which is that hug hormone, which when you do things as a family together, that releases and you all build that bond. So it's good for parent brains, it's good for kid brains. But also you get that endorphin boost, which is also a huge neurotransmitter boost too. So you get the serotonin, the oxytocin, and the endorphins. And then naturally, that's like taking the bricks out of the backpack. You are naturally wiring your kid's brain to when they encounter stress, they already have a higher set point mentally because they've raised those neurotransmitters to a higher point. So you're actually training your kids, and I know you do a lot of this with Try for Schools, is training kids for resilience. So you're training your kid to monitor and then do something about that stress level, and you can all do it together and then sort of have that bounce back, that resilience bounce back, which is amazing.
Right. Oh, that's so cool. And it's really good to see that. And I think like in a point where I think a lot of us, I don't know if I maybe just speaking for myself as a parent, but there are a lot of times where I'm like, am I doing okay at this? You know, and I kind of need to know that I'm doing good things like for them still. And like that, so, you know, doing things that can help build resilience or, you know, like having a shared goal where they see that we're all in this together. You know, it can be a real good boost for parents to be like, hey, look at this awesome thing that we're all going to do together. And this is one positive thing I have control over that I can sign up, you know, like, and participate and do.
Yeah. And that, what you just said is huge because you're showing your kids that they have a choice in how they deal with the stress that's coming. We might not be able to control what is happening to us, but we control our mindset and how we're going to look at it and whether we're going to take a step to do something about the stress that we know our bodies and minds are absorbing right now. So I think that is huge. And I think this is about the time, at least in my house, that it's time to switch something up. Like we have been going along, but we need something, just like when I was a teacher in a classroom, you would do something for a certain amount of time and then you would have to switch it around a little bit just to get some blood flowing and capture attention. So I think this is about my mom time where I'm like, okay, we need a family goal. We need to focus on something else. We have played every board game in this house. We have played, and my son got laser tag for his birthday. So we've been playing outdoor laser tag and running around. And that was a huge boost last week, but that's only going to last, you know, a little bit longer until something else. So we need family bonding things to boost their oxytocin and be together. That's not looking at a screen, that we can all work towards a common goal. So I think this is huge.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks for those great words of support. And like, you're just such a good knowledge resource. And like, I just want to make sure that I give a shout out because like you were so helpful in helping us really refine some of the activities and the things that we do with our curriculum for our after school program. And the fact that we haven't been able to offer that this year was, you know, such a bummer. And I worry about like, you know, kids that haven't been able to like have access to these tools and programs and things. And so I am hopeful that, you know, like through doing some of these things, maybe over the summer, that like kids will be able to at least get a little bit of a dose of that and say, hey, here's what I'm doing to help, you know, build my strong mind.
So key. And here's what I'm also doing when I can't be out in my community helping. Here's something I can still do to help my community. Right. I'm still going to participate in this event, which helps my community, which is huge and like, too. I think
that's, pointing out that this is a way that we can still host events. They may look different, but it still then allows us to make donations back to the schools to fund health and wellness programs. And boy, are we going to need every dollar we can get for those kinds of things when we all can get back together again.
Well, 100%. And I've been reading a lot of research about how social emotional learning is going to be so needed. And I think your programming is also so important, and I think about all those physical education teachers and how much they're going to be needed, because these children have not been in a school setting for so long, and we can't just throw them all back in, expect everybody to sit down and learn. There's going to be a transition period. So really making sure that mindful movement and, cueing in with our bodies when we're learning is an important part that we can reinstate. So that's something. And I think, teachers are really going to need everything they can. We don't know what the budgets are going to look like. So every time a kid participates and they can give back to their school, it's huge for everybody.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, well, and I have to tell you before we go, because we're going to do a couple more of these, everybody. So we'll be on, and we're going to talk about tips you can do with your kids each week. So this is sort of my closing tip, and I was the guinea pig and took it on our family before I was going to post it out to everybody out there. But we sensed that the morale in the house was lessening. And, especially with some of these rainy days that we're all inside, we had sort of said last week, we thought that one of our kids really needed to up and increase activity level, and that and that we noticed a mental decline. And so we said, okay, we're going to start running, not very far, but we think you need to start running just a little bit, and we'll do it with you. And there was griping and complaining at the beginning. But I know. Well, I always say
happens in this house.
Well, and I was going to say, whenever I take a break, that was my wisdom nugget for her, was when I take a break from doing something too, it's hard to get back into it.
Totally.
But you've done it before and you can do it again. You just have to get past that little sticky spot that actually will cause brain growth if we push through it and we persevere. And after about 3 days of running and not loving it, on the 4th day, I noticed a mindset shift, and the mood was elevating and we were starting to feel better about things. And she actually said too, I actually feel better, Mom. And I think, that's all that it took about 4 days for those neurotransmitters to do a surge into the brain. And then you could actually see the mindset and the mood change, and it was actually more calm and peaceful. So I think this can be such a tool for families to increase that bonding and their what I call mental fitness, while they're boosting their physical fitness at the same time.
Oh, that's great. I'm so glad that works.
Yay! All right. Well, we will keep the information coming, but Katie, where should they go check out the race and sign up?
Sure. So you can find all the information on our website. It's triathlon, the number 4 schools.org. And you can find out how to register. You can see the different distances. And we're excited because we actually, with the family event now, have a 4th new distance that we're offering. That's a longer distance for families that have older kids. So if they're really feeling ambitious and want to set a longer bike and run goal, they can do that for the first time.
I love that so much. And I think this would also be a great thing for families to sort of farm out to their families that they also are close with. And you can still do it together while being separate, and sort of make it a fun neighborhood thing, or fun,
definitely.
Just your friends down the road. I know your kids are looking for something to do. Our kids need something to do. If we know we're all in this together, it will make it that much more fun.
Yeah, there's definitely safe ways to go about it. We tested that out this weekend in my neighborhood. And with, kind of staggering everybody out and a big enough bike course and run course, we were able to do it safely and still kind of get some of that camaraderie and some of that excitement of the cheering crowd. So
I love that. I love that so much. And you can always have an end goal for your family. That's always the fun stuff too. Make some kind of reward for when you all finish together. High fives and a campfire or something like that outside is always awesome.
Oh, totally. And the weather's now getting nice enough where we could maybe do some picnics or something.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Katie, thank you so much. And I can't wait to talk to you again next week.
Yeah, thanks so much for chatting with me, Erin.
Awesome. Have a great day.
You too.